one of the most dangerous men to ever climb into a cockpit. A fighter, half drunk and raising hell. He turned a pack of rejects into one of the deadliest squadrons of World War II. The man who proved, even when the odds are 20 to 1, you can still win if you've got guts, grit, and a good right hook. This is Gregory Pappy Boyington. Welcome to Recon Lore, where American history isn't just history, it's lore. And we're bringing that America core with your daily dose of patriotic pride. The mission is to fight back against this anti-American culture with stories of positive American history that help build the best nation in the world. If you love America, join the movement by subscribing and like the video so we get as many of us together as fast as we can. Till our 250th anniversary of independence, this channel will be dropping a piece of American lore as much as possible. Share with a friend and hit that notification bell to keep up with every video that's put out. The more support the channel gets, the more videos of American guts and glory come your way. Gregory Boyington might have been born to fly, but he didn't have wings. He had fists, and oh boy did he like to use them. Born in Idaho 1912, he grew up tough. His parents split early, his mom got remarried, and little Greg took his stepfather's last name, Hallenbeck. A blessing in disguise, and will be a callback later. He never really fit in anywhere. He would get into fights at school, get into trouble. He had to constantly be reined back in. He was loud, proud, and quick to throw down. In high school, he discovered two things that would shape his life: flying and fighting. He wrestled his way to the Pacific Northwest Intercollegiate Middleweight Championship, proving that Greg didn't back down from anyone. And wrestlers are just a different breed. When you wrestle, everything else in life just seems a little easier. I personally enjoyed it when I was younger because it was the closest thing to fighting in school without getting in trouble. You'd get medals instead of suspensions. So if you've got a couple of loose screws, you'd fit right in. Let's get back into it though. At the University of Washington, he studied aeronautical engineering. He didn't care about the math, about the actual academia. He wanted the sky. He joined the ROTC and graduated in 1934 with one thing on his mind: to fly for the United States Marines. At 22 years old, he applied to become a naval aviator and got rejected. Not because he wasn't good enough, but because he was married. Back then, the Navy thought married men had too much to live for, and with the amount of casualties that you would get from flight, they didn't want to risk it. But Pappy, he wasn't about to let a wedding ring stop him from flying. One day, while rummaging through family papers, he found something interesting: his birth certificate. Turns out his real last name wasn't Hallenbeck, it was Boyington. So he reapplied under his birth name, and as far as the government knew, this Gregory Boyington was single, unattached, and ready for the dangers of flight. He got accepted. And just like that, a technicality put America's future air legend in the sky. Boyington was ultimate enemy of the term cause and effect, because when he effed around, instead of finding out, he found a way around it instead. Boyington took to the air like a natural. He was smooth on the stick, pause, aggressive in formation, and sharper than a blade in combat maneuvers. The Marines noticed that and made him a flight instructor. Because back then, if you were good at something, you taught it. You created soldiers with that skill at mass. The problem: Pappy hated teaching. He wanted flight. He wanted to fight. And while his students were learning takeoffs and landings, Boyington was pulling stunts that made senior officers spill their coffee. One fellow instructor recalled, you could hear Boyington's Corsair before you saw it, usually because he was buzzing the airfield again. Boyington, he had a temper, and it kind of was legendary. He had fists like pistons and a mouth that never stopped moving. One night, after a few too many drinks, he got into a brawl with a fellow officer, and he knocked the man out cold. Not great for your career, but a great story, I guess. He was told point blank that he was going to get court-martialed. So, purely in Boyington fashion, he decided to skip the courtroom entirely and go to war. He resigned from the Marine Commission in 1941, and he signed up for a new wild outfit, the American Volunteer Group, better known as the Flying Tigers. So instead of getting court-martialed, he found a way to fly and fight in the war, which he was being stopped from doing. He effed around. Instead of finding out, he found a way around it again. The Flying Tigers were mercenaries, American pilots flying for China against the Japanese before the United States officially entered World War II. They were promised $500 for every enemy plane they shot down, and Boyington loved that part. My man got to fly, he got to get paid for fighting, just great. He flew the rugged P-40 Warhawk, with shark teeth painted on the nose, roaring over Burma and China. He quickly racked up kills. 6 Japanese aircraft confirmed by witnesses, though the AVG's chaotic record keeping only officially credited him with 2. And that didn't sit well with Pappy. He once said, "If I'm going to risk my ass, I'd like the paperwork to say I did something." Frustrated over the dispute and being called a liar and a drunk, he left the Tigers in 1942. But his reputation as a fearless, reckless ace had already been carved into the Pacific skies. When he returned stateside in 1942, the Marines miraculously took him back, and they made him a major, quietly ignoring the whole punching out a superior officer thing. Not only that, they gave him credit for his 6 Flying Tiger kills. He found a way to get a promotion and had no repercussions for knocking out a fellow service member, and he got the kill count he deserved. Now he had rank, experience, and a grudge with anyone who doubted him. He trained hard, drank harder, and was itching to get back into combat. By 1943, the Marine Corps was desperate for a new fighter squadron in the skies, and they needed a leader crazy enough to take them into enemy skies. Guess who fit the bill? Our boy, Boyington. In 1943, Boyington was given command of the VMF 214, a brand new Corsair squadron. It wasn't exactly the dream team, even though they might have ended up actually being the dream team. Their planes were junk, their airfield barely functional, and their pilots were hand-me-downs, survivors from other units, the ones no one wanted. They called themselves Boyington's Bastards. But the name was a little too spicy for the official paperwork, so they settled on the Black Sheep Squadron. The San Francisco Chronicle wrote, "They look like pirates, they flew like devils, and drank like sailors. And somehow, they kept winning." Boyington whipped that unit into shape. He didn't care about the rules, only results. He told his men, "I don't care if you can't shave. I care if you can shoot." By late 1943, the Black Sheep were taking the fight to the Japanese. They destroyed over 200 enemy aircrafts in less than 3 months, and Boyington led from the front, like any good leader should. On January 3rd, 1944, he led his men into the skies over Rabaul, Japan's most heavily defended stronghold. He already had 27 confirmed kills, just one shy of the Marine record. The mission? Smash. Smash as many enemy planes as possible and get out alive. The air filled with tracer fire. Boyington's Corsair twisted and rolled through the clouds of Zeros. His 50 cal spit in hell. He dropped one, then another, and then his luck ran out. Japanese fighters swarmed his 6. His radio crackled, "Skipper, you got a dozen on ya." Boyington laughed into the mic, "Good. I hate an unfair fight." Geez, the amount of charisma points this man had, even in the face of death, danger, just can't make him like that. Moments later, his plane was shredded. Smoke filled the cockpit, and he bailed out, crashing into the Pacific. This time, Boyington cheated death itself. In an impossible situation, instead of finding out, destiny gave him a chance to find a way around it. Hours later, a Japanese submarine surfaced and pulled him aboard. A prisoner of war. You didn't want to be a POW for the Japanese back then. They were brutal. After 20 hard months, Boyington was beaten, starved, and kept in solidarity. He lost over 80 pounds. He later said, "The only thing that kept me alive was spite. I wasn't going to let them kill me. I wanted that pleasure for myself." What a dog. He cracked jokes even behind the bars. When guards asked him why he fought, he grinned and said, "Because it's fun." America thought he was dead. The Chicago Tribune ran his obituary. His squadron mourned him. And yet, somehow, he survived. Pappy was the term cause and effect's biggest enemy. In 1945, the war ended. Boyington, frail, pale, and still grinning, came home. When he stepped off that transport plane, a Marine shouted, "Hell, he's not dead, he's just late." President Harry Truman awarded him the Medal of Honor along with the Navy Cross. The New York Times wrote, "The man who came back from the dead now stands as one of America's greatest heroes." Boyington's citation praised him. Extraordinary heroism in aerial combat beyond the call of duty. His Black Sheep had taken down nearly a quarter of Japan's air strength in the Pacific. After the war, Pappy faced a new kind of fight with himself. He drank hard, partied harder, and tried to find peace in a country that didn't understand what he'd seen. But even then, he turned it into a story. He wrote his memoir, Baba Black Sheep, and in the 1970s, it became a hit on NBC. Boyington even appeared in it, fittingly sitting at the bar. He joked, "It took Hollywood to pay me for drinking on duty." Pappy Boyington passed away on January 11th, 1988. He was buried in Arlington National Cemetery. His gravestone simply reads, Gregory Boyington, Colonel, U.S. Marine Corps, Medal of Honor, Navy Cross. A man who lived fast, fought hard, and made America proud. That's the story of Gregory Pappy Boyington. The brawler, the bastard, the ace. He proved that sometimes the roughest men make the best stories. This is Recon Lore, where American history isn't just history, it's lore, legacy, and legend. If you like the video, hit that like button. Comment some great American stories you would like to see on the channel, and subscribe so you never miss a video. And I'll see you on the next one.